Be still, my elder millennial heart. This book was perfection. I was lucky enough to get an art copy of the mashup. This actually releases in July, so it's quite a ways away. But I want to start chatting about it now because the minute it's available, you guys need to pre order. If you are all about nostalgia, the nods, but then it actually feels like a vivid rom com playing in your mind from the late 90s, early 2000s, this book is it. So let's chat about the mashup by Laura Marie Meyers. Welcome back, old and new friends. This is Seaside Reads with Arlene. I'm so glad you're spending time with me today. It's actually a bit chilly. I'm not sure why I decided to sit outside and do this, but that's what we're going to do. Somehow last week we're in the 80s and we're now back to the 40s. Who knows? I want to chat with you guys on the art copy that I received from NetGalley, and that was the mashup by Laura Marie Meyers. This is her debut novel. It is a contemporary romance, and it's such a unique and fun idea. I loved it. Like, I mean, spoiler from the start. This is no notes. It was perfection to me. I don't care what anybody else says. It was perfection. And I'm going to tell you all the reasons why. So let's get into the story. What this is all about. We have the main character, Ruby. She is a twin. And they're celebrating, you're opening up it in the book that's celebrating her 35th birthday with her brother. It is her brother's turn to pick how they celebrate their birthday, so she is not in her comfort zone or in her realm. She has a long-standing boyfriend, a safety job. She has all the safe choices that she has made up to this point. She's very analytical. She has plotted her life in a certain way and has followed this trend along the way. So nothing overly exciting. It's just been what it has been. She has a best friend that is a little bit more eccentric than her, and is a bit out there. There's also Penn, which is her brother, her twin brother's best friend, and they've known each other since childhood. And as you may guessed it, Penn is not one of her favorite peeps, and they go banter back and forth. Real attraction there or anything like that as we are diving into the story. She is with in the party. Her boyfriend drops some news on her that alters their trajectory or what they had envisioned what their life was going to be. And that puts her in a tailspin. She starts drinking a little bit too much. By the time that they're making a wish, her best friend had given her a surprise gift, which she does not love surprises. And that surprise gift, the paper of MASH, the game MASH. Yes, we're going to talk about that in a second. The game MASH that they played back in 7th grade. And in there, it actually had selected that Penn, which was her brother's best friend, was who she was supposed to end up with in a mansion, living a completely different job. She makes a wish. She wakes up in the life she thinks she should be. Everything is basically Technicolor, and it's loud and charged and all the nostalgic vibes. So I don't know if you remember, MASH was my thing, okay? I don't know anyone that I grew up with that did not play the game of MASH. And I played it from middle school. I think we played it in high school. It was just the game that never died. So mansion, apartment, shack, house. And then we went wild. We added so many different categories. So it was besides job, spouse, number of kids, the city you were going to live in, what kind of car you were going to have. Then you went wild and added a whole bunch of other categories. And you played all day long. That was like a little future fortune teller game of the 90s and 2000s. We love that game, but especially in the 90s. So that is the game that she played, and she wakes up in that life, but she is not back to her younger self. She is still a 35-year-old woman, but with the choices made in the game, and she is trapped inside this game. She does not know how she's going to get back out. And the only person that she entrusts with her truth of that she's not really supposed to be there and that this is really not her like house, which for her at the time when 7th grade, this house was like a mansion to her. She has woken up in this mansion like house, and her love interest is supposed to be Penn, the guy that she just not her annoying brother's best friend. And she decides that the only way out of this game and back to her life is get together with Penn and make the game just like reset and get zapped. Whether that works out that way or not, you have to read it to know. But there is a lot of different like hidden nuggets. There is so many layers of things that she is discovering that she never knew about before, things that she's discovering about herself, living in the what ifs, living in the more carefree version of herself if she ever led that life. What does that mean when she goes back to reality? If she goes back to reality. I love this story. I thought not only because you guys already know, I'm always sharing things of like 90s nostalgia. Like please take me back. We didn't know what we had, but it was more than nods. It was more than nostalgia. It had richness, it had sweetness, it had not overly cute, it wasn't like just over the top. It just felt like a really cool early 2000s film playing in your head, the ones that we grew up with and we still love to this day, that our kiddos, our teens, especially my teens, will never understand or get. I love this book. The dialogue was very refreshing. It felt very lived in. It felt not forced. It just felt authentic. I don't even know how to put accurately in words my journey with this book. Like I need to have the physical copy. I need the physical copy because it needs to go on the shelf. Gets my stamp of Seaside Reads, which you guys knows are those comfort reads that doesn't require you to have to take heavy amount of notes to keep tracks of everything, that you can just take by the beachside or sit outside, whatever you want to do, and sit back and relax and read a good book. So this is definitely gets a seaside selection from me. Not to say the ones that don't are not good. They are. They're just ones that require more intentionality while you're reading it and a little bit more brain power to keep everything straight. But this definitely just took you on a beautiful journey. And there wasn't any part that I felt disappointed or that I felt like the story didn't lead where I needed to lead. And it also wasn't just all as expected. And it wasn't all just like, okay, I knew it was going to land here. It wasn't a Hallmark movie. It was just a really good early 2000s rom-com. Laura Marie Meyers perfectly captured the moment, the love of that 90s child that never really wanted to grow up, and just put those nods there, the music references, the roller derbies. I don't want to tell you too much of everything that went on with this whole world. In fact, it almost felt like, when you get trapped in Barbie's house, but with a more chaos and everything else that goes along with it. But everything that she went on, like just ideal setting, everything was shiny, everything was perfect because of her MASH game. No, it was like real consequences within the what ifs. What if she had chosen a different career path? What if she had chosen to stay where she was at? What if she had chosen a different significant other or anything like that? But the consequences were very real. It didn't make it like all picture perfect, and with nothing to strive for. There was real things that she had to aim for in this world, especially in the career that she had chosen in this magical world of MASH game and MASH land. And I loved that about it. It wasn't just like she was dropped into the perfect world. She was dropped in a different alternate universe with real consequences, real lived experiences. So just because it was different choices doesn't mean that it was perfect. And I think that to me was the part that hit the hardest and that I loved the most. So I am so excited that this was a debut novel because I love being the biggest cheerleaders for the debut novelists. And when they hit it out of the park this way, to me, it was just no notes, perfection. I loved it. I really hope that you grab it when you pick it up. And I'm so grateful for NetGalley for sending me a copy, which you guys know, if I actually read an e-copy, I really wanted to read it because I'm not an e-reader. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. I keep borrowing my daughter's e-reader. I'm trying. It's cute, right? It's cute. It is cute. All right. That is it. Okay, so tell me. I want to know in the comments. If you play MASH, tell me you play MASH. Or if not, you probably not from my generation. But if you play MASH, what would your life look like right now if it was the results of your last MASH game or the one that you remember the most? Let me know. Make it wild. I want to have a good time. Let's have a good time together. See you guys next time. Don't forget to show your library some love, and I'll see you for the next story.